predictions are more in the short term. I think that Google is going to become increasingly more efficient. While they're always working toward that, there's still definitely room for improvement, like trying to upload image ads in the editor. And I also think that mobile advertising is going to become the most important PPC advertising platform. PPC advertising is still relatively unused by many companies, so I think within the next 10 years it's just going to become increasingly more important. I feel strongly that the internet is a lot like TV. Its introduction really changed the way that we live, so I think it's just going to become increasingly more important.
I think that in 50 years we'll probably just all have chips in our brains that will allow the search engines and the government will probably be all one thing by that point to determine whatever we're thinking, and then just automatically we can make a decision like, yeah, I want to buy those shoes. Like, you know, when I think of the shoes, and then automatically they'll just be shipped to my house because I thought of it and then I was like, yeah, I want to buy those. And then if you don't have an appropriate thought that's connected with what you want in your brain, then it'll show you a bunch of images, probably in some device that's like integrated to your brain, and then you can decide which ones you want, and then you can decide whether you want to buy them or not, and they'll be shipped to you. So I feel like that's how PPC, that's how search will work in 50 years. But I guess if I said 5 to 10, it's more likely that I think it'll just be more intent-based. Like, I probably think we're going to lose all of our sense of privacy, and Google or whatever other search entity ends up being the dominant one will be able to access a lot more of our private information and preference information. Like, currently on search, it's kind of difficult to target people by exactly who they are, like in terms of age and what they want to buy. It's a little bit easier on display, but it's difficult in search. But I think that probably like privacy will go away, and any preference that you ever know anywhere on the internet will be applied to most people's search behavior as well, and then we'll just be getting all kinds of targeting options from the advertiser side and all kinds of targeted ads from the user side that will just be like exactly what we want, and we probably won't know how, but it'll be the magic of data mining our accounts. And that's that.
So the future of PPC, you know, honestly, nobody can put exact definition to where this is going to go. So here are my thoughts. First, I can definitely see PPC continuing to grow. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. As more and more companies become more educated and decide to open up the PPC floodgate, you know, this becomes a viable potential source of some excellent revenue for them. I also see the better and more refined targeting capabilities within AdCenter and AdWords. You know, they've been rolling out new features for a while now, so I would imagine that these can only get better as more and more data is collected. I also am not so sure about this, but I would like to see it happen. An interface where, with universal compatibility, that basically allows you to take any PPC advertising interface and include it all into one. I think that would be awesome, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen. Thanks.
I think the future of PPC advertising is definitely heading towards a different direction for managers, at least. I don't think we're going to have to deal with all the keyword research anymore. I've heard a lot of stuff lately that says keywords are out the door. So we'll see where that takes us, and hopefully it'll take us somewhere really cool for the future.
Let's see. So my predictions for PPC in 5 or so years, I think mobile will definitely be king. I think people being on mobile phones and tablet devices will sort of make interacting with search engines obsolete, or search engines as we know them. I think things will definitely be focused much more on social media. I think as a result of kind of the constant voting process on ads, things will be much more transparent. I think you'll be able to see things like clicks on ads before or as you're viewing the ad. So my vote is for mobile, tablet. I think search engines as we know them are going down, and how should people?
Well, when I think about where PPC is going to go in the next 5 or 10 years, I tend to think about the social marketplace and who has the majority of user stake out there. And Facebook tends to be the largest out there at the moment. When Google AdWords first came to the marketplace, they dominated, and they still do. But I believe Twitter is coming in close, and so is Facebook with their ad marketplaces. With that in mind, I think where a lot of these corporations are missing the boat is in pay-per-click comparison shopping, dealing with e-commerce in the long tail. I think we're going to see a lot more competition in PriceGrabber, NextTag, and Shopzilla, BizRate, and others that deal in niche verticals for pay-per-click advertising.
I think it's very apparent that social targeting will be really big in the future, as well as just demographic targeting. So I'm really interested to see how Google Plus plays out, and then also what Bing does to kind of keep up with that. I know they're building pretty strong ties with the social platforms already. I also think that in 5 to 10 years we'll probably be using computers differently. I think that voice search will be really big, and I think eventually it'll be more long-tailed search keywords because it'll be less of people typing a certain query and more of people just talking to their computer and telling them what they want, but that might be a little further down the road than 10 years. I also think that the image search and the voice search will come together eventually, so it'll be like, I'm looking for a pair of shoes to match this dress. I think that would be really cool, but again, that might be even a little further down the road.
I think that as the internet and television start to become basically one entity, that PPC ads will start appearing on television, and I'd like to think that if you're watching a show and maybe a character is wearing a certain outfit or they're using a certain product, that an ad will appear where you can click through and then go purchase that product or go to the website that sells that product.
So when I think about the future of PPC or where it's going to be in 5 to 10 years, the main thing that I see happening is that there's going to be a premium on good management because competition is only going to grow. So whereas now most industries can find their space in PPC, it's going to be harder and harder for the little guy to be successful in it because more people are going to be in PPC. So early adopters are going to have an advantage. People that have experts on staff or hire agencies are going to have an advantage just because there's going to be so much more competition and because the targeting is only going to get better. I see things that, for example, Facebook is doing now with interest-based targeting that Google will be able to tap into. I mean, right now with Google Plus, they can collect data like that. So, I mean, those are the things that we're going to see in the next year or so, or that are already happening. In 5 to 10 years, it's going to be so much more targeted based around individual likes and interests that everybody's going to be in there, and it's just going to be more difficult to be successful at it, to carve out your space in the industry. So that's kind of where I see things happen.
Right. So I think that the future of the PPC industry definitely has a lot of possibility in the next 5 to 10 years, and I'm just excited to see how other new technologies start to tie into PPC, so how like QR codes start to tie in, and I'm interested to see if we're going to be able to eventually hold our phones up to street signs like they do in that commercial and get information about that place and actually click on maybe a coupon for them. So I think it'll be interesting to see what integrates in with PPC in the next 5 to 10 years for sure.